Council in session, please stand for the Worshipful, the Mayor of the Borough Decorum, Councillor Brenda Link.
Good evening, everyone. Before we commence proceedings, I would ask members to ensure that you remain respectful and adhere to the rulings of the Mayor at all times, and to be mindful of your behaviour throughout the meeting. I would also like to remind members that any standards matters or councillor complaints should be raised directly with a monitoring officer and not during this meeting. Can I also ask that all persons present turn off any Wi-Fi hotspots on your phones or electrical devices, as this interferes with the meeting's audio. Finally, I would like to remind everyone that this meeting is being live streamed and recorded. Photography may also take place as long as it does not prejudice the proceedings at this meeting. Thank you. Right. Agenda item 1. Does the council agree that the minutes of the previous meeting held on the 19th of February 2025? Agreed. Thank you. Declarations of interest. Agenda item 2. Do we have any declarations of interest? Right. Agenda item 3. There is no public participation. Right, on to agenda item 4. Appointment of the leader of the council. I will now take nominations for the leader of the council, and each nomination will require a proposer and a seconder.
Madam Mayor, before we move to take nominations, I'd like to move under Article 12N of the Constitution that the Council amends its procedural rules to take a notice without motion. Okay. Or no, motion without notice, sorry.
Is that seconded? Okay. Right, could you explain what is the motion, please?
My motion will be that the Council defers the appointment of the leader of the Council until the annual Council meeting on the 14th of May to give more time to consideration of the issues that the Council faces in the appointment of that leader.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, that would be a motion to adjourn a debate. So actually it isn't required to change the current procedural rules. So that's just open for debate and then the vote.
Yes. I will now open the floor for debate. I would remind members that speeches may be directed to the motion as proposed, and no speech should exceed 5 minutes. Once a member has spoken, they may not speak again. Right, the first one is...
Excuse me, sorry, Madam Mayor, can I ask for a recorded vote, please?
Yes, yes. And have we got 2 others?
Yes.
Yes, right.
There's plenty of
several.
Can I
Thank
second
you.
that as well?
Thank you. So I'll go. No, I'm not deferring. Yeah. Has anybody got any comments on deferring, which is in the motion that Andrew Williams? Has anyone got any comments? Right. Councillor Gow.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. We've had plenty of notice of this. The leader, Councillor England, announced his resignation at the last meeting. It's been long enough. We've had plenty of notice. We've known what this was going to be about. There is no reason to leave the council without a leader for now, and there's just simply no reason to defer this. And I can see that a recorded vote's already been asked for, so I would have asked for that as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councillor England?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Really just to echo what Councillor Gale has said and to point out the fact that I did take pains to prepare my resignation and submit it in time so that this meeting could have an orderly transition from one leader to another.
Right, thank you. Councillor Symington?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think it's really disappointing to have this proposal put to us at such short notice. If the Leader of the Council of the Opposition wanted to defer the vote, why has he left it so long to bring it up? We've had group leaders' meetings. We've had nearly 5 or 6 weeks since the last meeting. We've had plenty of opportunity to discuss this. It is time we moved on. Basically, you know, we weren't able to take a vote at the full council meeting where Council England, where Adrian stood down for procedural reasons. Collectively, the group leaders agreed not to call an extraordinary general meeting just to elect a new leader. And now we need to move forward. Decorum needs strong leadership at a time when local government is facing turmoil. You know, what is the benefit for residents in delaying the vote? We're currently negotiating devolution and local government reorganisation. We need to deliver on the corporate plan. We need to support the council through the local plan inspection process and ensure that much needed infrastructure is delivered. We need to invest the funds Decorum has and build our asset base for future generations. For our residents, for our officers, for our partners and stakeholders, we need clarity. We need to elect a new leader and we need to work together collaboratively across this whole chamber to deliver vital services for the residents of Decorum. I believe we should go ahead and elect a new leader tonight and stop deferring the decision.
Has everybody that wishes to speak done so? And has the seconder of the motion exercised their right to speak?
I don't feel that I have very much to say as a seconder of the motion, but it does seem to make eminently good sense. There is a procedure available to us, and we are taking advantage of that procedural availability. We're only talking about a short delay, and it's just to consider all the implications. And there is the old expression, marry in haste, repent at leisure. So I think it's prudent to follow the recommendation and the motion as presented by Councillor Williams. Thank you.
Are we using these?
Right. Councillor Williams, as the mover of the motion, you have the right to reply before I close the debate and move to a vote.
All I can say is, I move into deferment. I agree with a lot of what Councillor Symington said, but I'm not sure we're going to get that strong leadership the council needs this evening.
Now we will take a vote, which will be carried out by the show of hands. All right. As this is a recorded vote, you will also be asked to instructions on how to do so after each show of hands. Thank you.
So much for modern technology.
If you are voting for the motion, could you please raise your hand now? Sir.
Oh, okay. So if I could please now ask you all to go to the small plastic wallets that are in front of you on your desks. And inside, if you take out one of the slips marked 4, which are printed on green paper, if you could mark your slip in the space allowed to indicate that it's vote number 1, agenda 4, and make sure you sign your slip, and when you've completed, if you can hold it in the air. So if you're voting 4, please take out the green slip from your plastic wallet and mark on that now and hold it in the air. Thank you. That's voting for the motion. This is just so that you have the recorded element of that show of hands.
If you are voting against, please raise your hands now.
Okay, for those of you voting against, the same applies. If I could please ask you to take the pink slip marked against out of your wallet, mark it for vote 1, and item 4, and sign it, and please hold it in the air for collection. Thank you.
Oh, agenda. It's vote number 1.
Is that right? If you are choosing to vote abstain, please raise your hand now.
And again, the same applies for the abstentions. If you could please take the white slip out and hold it up in the air when you've completed it. Agenda item 1, vote 1, agenda item 4. Thank you.
The motion is not carried and we will therefore continue to the appointment of the Leader of the Council. I will now take again the nominations for the Leader of the Council. Each nomination will require a proposer and a seconder. This one, Councillor Douris.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I now propose the appointment of Councillor Andrew Williams as Leader of the Council.
Have you got is there a seconder?
I believe so, but
I would like to second Andrew Williams' proposed Leader of the Council.
Thank you. Councillor Smith-Wright.
I'd like to propose Councillor Symington to be Leader of the Council.
Take comments into any-
Oh, sorry, we've got to take comments. Sorry. Would there be anybody that comments on Councillor Williams's nomination? Right, now move to you. Councillor Smith-Wright.
Thank you. I'd like to propose Councillor Sally Symington to be Leader of the Council.
Thank you. And a seconder?
Okay, I'd like to continue talking, if that's okay.
Is that okay?
Is that all right?
You can, but then you forego your right to reply at the end if you wanted to wait. But
I'll keep going. I'll keep going, if that's all right. Thank you. So thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm honoured to stand up for Sally Symington as Leader of this Council. Sally is not only a safe pair of hands, she is thoughtful, principled and deeply experienced leader. She brings strong credentials in finance and governance, but more importantly, she brings clarity, calm and kindness in everything she does. She has always put her residents first, and I know, without question, that she will serve all residents across Dacorum with fairness, transparency and compassion. Sally has shown time and again her ability to lead with integrity, to collaborate across party lines, to move this council forward and to deliver the services people rely on. She has a strategic vision to ensure the best deal for Dacorum as local government reorganisation approaches. And she knows that collaboration is the only way, excuse me, this chamber should operate. She is the right person at the right time, and we are proud to put her name forward tonight. Let us build on the work we've already started. Let us continue to deliver the change our residents voted for. To every member who takes this responsibility humbly, this is your opportunity to give our communities the stable, united council they deserve. Recently, I met a gentleman who had worked for this council for many years. As we parted, he looked me in the eye and said, "Look after my council." And that has stayed with me, because the integrity of this institution matters. We must hold onto our moral compass. Yes, the future may bring change with the complexities of unitary reform on the horizon, but right now, this council is precious. It supports our most vulnerable residents. We owe it to them to be a mature, responsible and united council. We are public servants. Let us remember our shared responsibility to this council and this borough. Over the past few months, we have delivered stability and with integrity. And I'm proud to serve along colleagues who continue to lead with grace and humility, even under immense pressure. We are driving Dacorum toward a better, fairer future. So tonight, I ask you to support a collaborative leader, one who brings the right balance of experience, steadiness and care. Sally Symington is ready to lead. She will bring people together, she will steady the ship, and she will take this council forward with confidence and clarity, and with a deep commitment to every community we serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor?
we have a second.
Oh, we've had a seconder. We did, it was, he did say it. Yes, you
Just ask him
did.
to
You
confirm.
said, well, yeah, go on.
I think I stood up, but I was
Sorry.
cut off. I would like to second Sally Simpson and reserve my right. Thank you.
You did, definitely did. Right, the next person is Councillor Stevens.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, light on to ask for a recorded vote when we get to the recorded vote.
Right, and have we got two others? Yes, 1, 2. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Does anybody else want to speak on Sally? If not, it'll have to come back to you. Oh, Simi, sorry.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I just want to say, in support of Lib Dem leadership, today I stand at a pivotal moment for our community here. We work tirelessly, shoulder to shoulder, tackling some of the most challenging issues our community has faced. Whether it's the local plan, improving lives of people within housing, climate action, neighbourhood improvement, or the budget, we have been unwavering in our commitment to putting residents at the heart of every decision we make. Yes, there have been difficult choices along the way. We have had to navigate complex challenges, balancing competing priorities while always keeping our vision clear, which is our residents. We never took the easy route because we knew that making a lasting difference is what requires determination, integrity, and sometimes making tough calls. Throughout it all, we have remained resolute to our commitment to our community. Our corporate plan embodies that vision, a vision shaped not just by one person or one party, but by the voices and the needs of the people we represent, and that is cross-party. It is a plan designed to move our community forward sustainably, responsibly, and with compassion. We've achieved so much together, but our work is not done. To continue delivering on this vision, we need continuity in the leadership. We need to stay the course, build on the progress we have made so far, and keep our community thriving. By electing a Liberal Democrat leader, we're not just choosing a person, we're choosing to continue the value and principle that have driven us this far. Let's keep working together, let's keep our community at the centre of our vision, and let's ensure we have the leadership that understand the current challenges, that understand the values, the cross-party support, and is ready to build on them. At last, I just want to thank you, everybody, for their continued support this far and commitment to the resident, and I hope we would continue to do the same. Thank you.
Councillor Madden.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I realised that there was some level of panic about the council leadership when I received a message from Sally Symington 12 days ago asking if I could call her. When we spoke, she asked me if she could count on my vote, to which I replied no and gave my reasons. As an independent, I have no whip, and every vote I make is what I truly believe to be in the best interests of my residents. I explained that I can't support her for this role, as nice as she is, because she didn't just quietly vote against the local plan in October, she was very vocal and gave a very passionate speech about it. After the vote had taken place, she then insisted that we had a counted vote, which displayed to me a lack of understanding of a long-recognised council process. Sally made the point of saying that the decision is made and she can draw a line under it and push forward. Rather than accept my reason, I spent the next 15 or more minutes listening to all the reasons Sally felt I should support her, despite me saying several times that I wouldn't change my mind. The final straw was when she told me that following the dreadful recent history of the local Liberal Democrats, it was important to me to know that we would have a strong woman leading the council. I had to stop her there. As I explained, and as is well known amongst many people in this room, I have absolutely no interest in what gender a colleague is. I spent my entire employed life in the motor, construction, quarrying and oil industries, where over 95% of my colleagues were men. Since I was 16, I have stood shoulder to shoulder with men. I was running the accounts department from the age of 21. My staff were mostly men. I don't care if our leader is a man or woman or any other gender. I just need to know they will lead the council calmly, firmly and fairly. I feel really strongly that in our meeting in October, it was imperative that we got the local plan to the next stage, and that had Sally succeeded in her endeavours to persuade the council to vote against, we would be back at square one with developers circling. During our conversation, Sally suggested that the Greenbelt issues were not in my ward, so I couldn't appreciate the issue. That concerned me, because I pointed out that there were just 2 Greenbelt fields in my ward separating Nash Mills from Abbots Langley and Three Rivers, one of which has got a planning application in currently, and the other is already owned by a developer. I know as much as anyone the importance of a local plan being pushed through to the next stage to protect the parts that are not already included in it. Regarding the dreadful recent events in the Liberal Democrats Sally alluded to, I have absolutely no idea of the details of what did or didn't happen, as it's not been discussed publicly and I really don't need to know. To sum up, I can't draw a line under this, and whilst I like Sally very, very much, I believe that her very public opposition to our local plan was ill-judged, and I'm not convinced that she won't make ill-judged future decisions. During our 24-minute chat, Sally kept pressing me for which Lib Dem I thought would be the better for the role, and I kept trying not to offer a name. In the end, I told her. A few days later, I was contacted by Will Allen, who asked me to reconsider, and when I refused, asked me to abstain. Again, I refused. By the way, the name of the Lib Dem I gave Sally as the best Lib Dem for the job was actually Will Allen, although I don't believe Sally told him that. I wrote this speech this afternoon before I knew that the Conservatives were putting in a nomination tonight, but I wanted to be clear where I stand on it. So I just wanted to make my point. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Gale.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've known Sally since I became a councillor in May 2023. And whilst I accept she can be blunt, I consider this to be quite a virtue. And she will always speak her mind. She won't just say the thing that's popular to curry favour. She will speak truth to power. And that's going to be really rather important in the coming reorganisation. And she won't just adopt a position just to please people. She has a huge amount of integrity. She'll stick to her guns. And one can understand from the last speaker how that may rub some people up the wrong way. But in my view, that shows strength in a leader. And yes, you may not agree with everything Sally says. You may take exception to some of the things. But it's the courage which is so important in a politician and so important in a leader. And her values are, in my view, exactly what this council needs. Now, on May the 23rd, 2023, the people of Dacorum, May 2023, the people of Dacorum voted for a change. They voted out the previous administration, which had been in administration for many years, and they chose the Liberal Democrats. And voting against Councillor Symington, the choice is straight between Councillor Williams and Councillor Symington. And because of the numbers at the moment, an abstention is a choice. You either back Councillor Symington or you allow the council to move back into the previous situation where we had Conservatives in control. And that is the choice. I completely back Councillor Symington, and also I would urge those people who agree with the choice of the residents of Dacorum in May 23, that we want to change, we want to continue with a Liberal Democrat administration run by a Liberal Democrat leader, then yeah, I would urge you to vote for Councillor Symington.
Thank you. Councillor England.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again echoing Councillor Gale, this council was led by the Conservative group from 2003 until 2023, 2 whole decades. In 2023, the electorate of Dacorum collectively moved the majority control to the Liberal Democrats. This was the second all-up set of elections in which there had been a tidal shift, but this time it was decisive. It's therefore axiomatic that there is still a Liberal Democrat values majority on this council. In September, 8 councillors who resigned from the group did not join the Conservatives or any other group. I resigned as group leader and leader of the council to offer those 8 self-styled independents the space in which to consider seeking to rejoin the group under a female leader. Whether or not this develops and how long it may take, it makes sense that they will continue supporting the corporate plan which they helped to create. This leaves us all in a very particular place where there will continue to be a majority for Liberal Democrat values on this council. In those circumstances, I recommend that we confirm the new Liberal Democrat group leader as leader of the council and continue the consensus building which has been a feature of the last 6 months. Thank you.
Right, Councillor Hobson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I wasn't going to speak, but following on what Councillor England mentioned us, so I'm one of the self-styled independents. I don't know really what self-styled means, and that we had the option to rejoin the Liberal Democrats. I'm not going to go into any details because I've spoken at this length in private, and I've made it very, very clear my position and why I remain an independent, and also what you spoke about at the beginning binds my hands, and it probably isn't appropriate to talk about any of the details and wash any more dirty linen in public. But I stand here as an independent, and I will make my decision on the leader based on the values and the integrity that I still hold very dear, and was the basis on which I left the group at the time. And just publicly, I am still a member of the Liberal Democrat Party. I am just not currently a member of the Dacorum Liberal Democrats. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Barry Mears.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I too wasn't going to speak. I mean, something Councillor Madden said inspired me, and then Councillor England insinuating something that wasn't true. Councillor Madden said she doesn't mind the gender because, you know, it would be good to have a really strong woman as a leader. Agreed. That's something I think we differ on. Councillor Madden and I quite like to see a strong woman. Everything I say is true, and I'd just like to say I too am still a member of the Liberal Democrats, but there are eyes here that I'm sure are waiting to report back to get me removed. We cannot have a leader who knows about things and doesn't talk about them, and who is a part of covering up sexual harassment and assault.
And there's a point of order. Point of order. That's not to be discussed.
No, but we said about values, we said about integrity.
Yes, well, just what...
I'll wrap up, thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm saying, I think there's been values pitched to us tonight that aren't quite true, and it's a huge shame. And for that reason, I can't back Councillor Symington, and that is with the heaviest heart.
Thank you. Councillor Pringle.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I too was not going to speak on this motion, but I do think it's important to recognise that what the people of Dacorum voted for when they decided to reject the Conservatives in 2023. The biggest thing that came up on the doorsteps with me, and I have increased my vote each time I've stood because I know how my people who vote for me think, because I talk to them a lot. A lot of people think I talk too much, but my residents seem to like it. And they like what they hear because I talk about integrity in politics. I was very proud that we were elected having 50-50 women. There were 14 women and 14 men. And my values are as solid Liberal Democrat as they've ever been. And that means putting integrity and honest and ethics and truth-telling and transparency at the heart of everything we do, because there is an anxiety on the doorsteps. In international terms, we've got Trump and we've got Putin. Democracy is under threat from these elements, but it's also under threat from within. This country is the mother of democracy. I was recently in Parliament, and it's amazing what the values that are seen there from people from all over the world coming to our Parliament because we have integrity, or we think we do. And that is what the people that we wear poppies for and stand at the Cenotaph and Remembrance Sunday fought and gave their lives for integrity and democracy. And for me, you know, wearing a poppy just for the sake of it means nothing unless you are prepared to genuinely speak truth to power. And unfortunately, although there is talk of strong women and talk of speaking truth to power, there is not a lot of evidence of it. And I am very sorry to say to people such as Caroline Smith-Wright, who I'm sure is a very lovely person, there are things that because I have integrity, I have not told them. And for that reason, I have to...
Point of order. These on the last speaker, there are insinuations here which are absolutely inappropriate. It ought to be stopped.
Right. Well, what are the insinuations? And I'll address them transparently.
Yes, I think it is a point of order because you're just going on and on.
Well, I'm sorry. This is called the forum, and I know that Councillor Taylor thinks that's funny.
Could you just move forward a bit, please?
Pardon?
Could you move forward?
Forward what?
With whatever you're saying.
Well, I think I'm saying Councillor Gale does not know things that I know.
These are insinuations. I'm sorry. These are
I am happy to say.
Allegation.
Could you please sit down?
I am not
for a minute while I consult.
I am not making an insinuation. Councillor.
Excuse me. Sorry. Excuse me, please. We made it clear at the start of the meeting around any standards complaints type issues should not be raised under this section.
We're not talking about standards.
There are comments that are starting to border on towards those comments. The Mayor has made a ruling. She's asked you to move forward from this. If you'd like to now conclude your speech.
I will conclude. Thank you. I will conclude. Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is called the forum. We live in a democracy and people must speak truth to power. And that is what I have always done. And yet Councillor Symington has never asked me if I would support her. I wonder why. Thank you very much.
Sally Symington is a collaborative, empathic and strong councillor and will lead us well. However, this vote is about much more than the individuals involved. It's a choice between a Liberal Democrat administration or a Conservative one. At the start of this term, the residents of Dacorum overwhelmingly elected a Liberal Democrat administration. The Liberal Democrats have demonstrated their constructive collaboration across parties, putting the interests of residents first and building a better future. We must provide the administration that the residents voted for.
Hang on. Councillor Allen, would you like to sum up?
Can I say a few words?
Oh, sorry.
No, she shouldn't speak.
I don't think you're allowed to. I don't know. I've asked.
You can't speak twice.
No, you can't speak twice.
I haven't spoken.
Oh.
You did at the beginning. Yeah.
Okay. No, sorry, that's my mistake. I believed you'd spoken, but if you haven't, then you're entitled to
No,
speak.
that's fine. Right, shall we take Sally first? Or Councillor William Allen?
It's whatever preference.
Right. Councillor Symington.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to say a few words. I was honoured, I am honoured, to have been elected as the Liberal Democrat group leader unanimously. And that is to take our group forward and to deliver the Liberal Democrat manifesto to deliver the Liberal Democrat values across decorum. As my colleagues have mentioned, the electorate gave a clear mandate in 2023, and they placed the Liberal Democrats in control of decorum. And as a group, my colleagues, myself, we've worked tirelessly to deliver that change. But we've also worked collaboratively with the Conservatives and with Labour to ensure that residents are always put first and foremost in our decision-making. And we must hold on to that and hold it dear, because when things descend in the council chamber into ad hominem attacks, that's not serving our residents. I want to continue working collaboratively. We need to. This is a council in no overall control. Collaboration is a rare thing in politics, but it's something that we can hold on to. And it's also something that many, many of our residents want to see us doing. They don't like the bickering, they don't like the flick-flacking, they want to see us getting on with the job and delivering for them. I have the skills and experience to do this. I've represented every level of local government, from parish councils through to the borough council to the county council. I'm in a strong position to negotiate the best deal for local residents regarding devolution and local government reorganisation. This is at the heart of what we need to do for our residents. Otherwise, we will be losing it all for them going forward, and we don't want to do that. We need to deliver much-needed housing, employment and regeneration across the borough. We need somebody who has the credibility with stakeholders, both within the council and outside of the council, and the vision to deliver that. We also need to protect our green spaces. And as a trustee of the Chiltern Conservation Board, I've worked hard to make sure that that happens and protect basically our precious Chiltern National Landscapes, formerly called the Area of Outstanding Natural Beauty. We need to make sure they flourish and that they're accessible to everyone. This is a borough that encompasses both urban and really crucial green spaces. And if I'm elected leader following this vote, I will be the first person from outside Hemel Hempstead to be elected leader of the council and to bring together those important things, representing those rural communities, our market towns, and making sure their voice is heard and taken into account alongside the residents of Hemel. As somebody who lives very close to Hemel and has done since 1997, I also feel very closely aligned with Hemel, so I can bridge those two areas really well. I look forward to leading the council. I want to work jointly with members from all parties to deliver for our communities. And I commit to leading to the best of my ability with integrity, openness and transparency. And I will honour the trust of the council, the trust the council and residents have vested in me.
Councillor William Allen.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I think everything's been said that needs to be said. But I would like to emphasise two important strands. Firstly, there's been talk about the local plan. When this chamber met together to discuss the local plan, I do not think there was an orientation within this room that didn't have divided views over it. I am confident that I say that people abstained or voted against it from all categories of members in this chamber. And Councillor Symington was part of that, if you like, free vote. That is because of her involvement with Chiltern Conservation Board, and that is important that she spoke up on those terms. When leader, of course, she will have a completely different set of allegiances, and those localised allegiances linked to her ward and her division will no longer apply. The other thing that this chamber voted collectively on is this corporate plan. It's been mentioned a few times. This corporate plan is about social housing for our residents. It's about keeping decorum free from road developers. It's about the strategic asset plan and leaving a legacy for residents when a new formation of local government applies in this area. It is about environmental action, such as solar panels on the roof of the Hemel Hempstead Sports Centre and retrofitting council houses to be more energy efficient. This is a local plan that everybody in this room, sorry, not a local plan, a corporate plan that everybody in this room had a chance to vote on and got resounding support cross-chamber, I believe. And so I call upon people in this chamber to continue supporting what this plan, our plan, intends to deliver. Thank you.
Councillor Smith-Wright, do you wish to add anything at the end? I know, I did tell.
Councillor Smith-Wright moved the motion. She's entitled to introduce it. She's also entitled to close the motion.
Sorry, if I may, Madam Mayor, you did give Councillor Smith-Wright the option at the beginning to speak or to speak at the end.
I do know that, but...
I defer to you, Madam Mayor, but I'm just reminding you of what happened at the beginning. Thank you.
No, I'm sorry, I've been overruled. You should have it, the right to speak.
Thank you very much, Madam Mayor.
It is my decision and I've decided.
It's the second meeting that we've had where someone is able to speak at the beginning of a motion and then get a second opportunity to speak at the end of that motion. It has never happened in this council.
Well, I've been advised and I can't do no more. Sorry.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Before we move to the vote, I just want to say how much I respect everyone in this chamber for taking this decision seriously and doing everything you can to be here tonight with your heart set on doing the right thing for your communities. This is not a political moment. It's a moment to reflect on what kind of leadership we want to stand behind, what kind of future we want to help shape for the residents we all serve. In Sally Symington, we have someone who brings experience, balance and compassion, someone who understands what it means to lead with calm, clear focus, and will work with all of you respectfully and collaboratively, as she has expressed. We've all known how important it is to have steady, thoughtful leadership in challenging times. And this is our opportunity to provide just that. Whatever our backgrounds, we're all here because we care. So let's make this decision with hope, with unity, and with the people of Dacorum in mind. Thank you.
Oh, sorry. Did you turn your microphone? Thank you. Right, now, we will now take this to a vote.
Madam Mayor.
Have I got, oh, sorry, Councillor Williams.
Thank you. We've had the motion moved by Councillor Smith-Wright and seconded by Councillor Allen. We also had the motion from this side of the chamber.
Did ask if you wanted to talk after that.
I've pressed my microphone to speak because I wasn't expecting quite so many long speeches, and I haven't prepared a long speech, but I've heard quite a lot here. And if this is, as some would claim, a vision of a united and harmonious administration, then we're seeing it from a very different angle on this side of the chamber. The reason I put my name forward is that we talked a bit here about experience. I led this council for 24 years in a united and harmonious way. My group stayed together for 20 odd years under my leadership. And I believe after 38 years as a Dacorum councillor, with the council currently in the chaos it's in, that experience of leadership of this council over many years is what is now needed to take us forward. Councillor Symington spoke, and others have spoken about the achievements of the administration. All the administration has done, and I take this as a compliment, is continued the work that I led as the Conservative leader. I enjoy reading books in my spare time, and fiction is one of my favourite, and when I've been reading some of the focuses out recently, my interest in fiction has been spiked. You see, they claim, well, we've built 100 houses since we came to control. No, you didn't. You carried on building the houses that were already being built by a Conservative administration. You've installed EV charging points that were on a contract that I signed off before the administration changed. In fact, it's difficult to find anything that this administration has done in the last 2 years that weren't already in place by the Conservatives before. And the local plan, the corporate plan, is voted through because it's so vanilla that there is nothing in it you can't really disagree with. At a time when this and we've seen it demonstrated here this evening that Councillor Symington doesn't have the unified support of this council, it would appear. This council needs strong and stable leadership. I'm standing here not because over the group of 18 it is my desire greatly to lead this council at the moment, but it needs strong and stable leadership as it comes up to reorganisation. And I believe in my experience I'm the person to give it to that strong and stable leadership. And I ask you to support me this evening to steady the ship, which is otherwise a bit wonky at the moment. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Now we can go to the vote.
Madam Mayor.
Oh, sorry, Terry. No more. There's no more to be spoken.
Madam Mayor.
I've been told.
No, Madam Mayor, I am the proposer or the mover of the motion.
Yeah, but we done that first, and then we asked if there was anyone wanting to talk, and then we went over to the other nomination, I thought.
No, if I may, I moved the motion and didn't speak to the motion, and I'm taking the opportunity
Did you
now.
reserve your right to speak?
You don't have to reserve your right.
Yes, I thought you did.
You don't have to if you're
We
moving
moved
the
on.
motion.
We've moved on. That was the point. And it was your nomination and your speaking, and then after that, it was a second nomination and theirs. So I think it is.
Madam Mayor, I didn't speak. I moved
Madam
the
Mayor.
motion.
Point of order. Point of order, Madam Mayor.
I'm just
Councillor Doris
taking
to give way.
orders.
Councillor Smith-Wright was able to move the motion, speak, and speak again at the end. Councillor Doris is entitled to speak. You cannot stifle free debate.
We did it in turn, didn't we? We actually picked, you were nominated first. You had all the things we asked if you wanted to speak. No one did. And that was the point. And then we
Point of order.
moved to this
Point
one.
of order, Madam Mayor.
Yeah.
We have the monitoring officer present. The
Right.
monitoring officer can give his advice, and I think we should all follow it.
Right.
Madam Mayor, thank you. Yes, that motion, in my view, that Councillor Doris seconded, did move on without any comment. There was an opportunity at that moment. If Councillor Doris wishes to close following his reservation of his right to speak, but there was no comment coming forward, so we moved on to the second motion. So we now must move to the vote.
Are you refusing me? Are you refusing my right to speak?
I asked earlier if there was any more people to speak, and there was none. And then we moved over to the next nomination. That was why.
With respect, Madam Mayor, you don't have to say, as long as you, as the mover of the motion, as long as you speak before the vote, that is acceptable. You don't have to identify when you want to speak. You can choose when to speak. That is the essence of it.
Right. What would?
Madam Mayor.
Move on to the vote.
Right, we've got to move on to the vote. I'm sorry, Councillor Doris.
We're happy to concede the point and let.
Oh, right.
Councillor
If you
Doris
want to
speak.
speak, then it's fine.
Clarification on that. Could we just understand whether it's the solicitor's decision on whether someone can speak in this chamber, or is it the potential leader of council's decision?
No, you wanted to speak. It's Councillor Doris that wants to speak, and we're allowing it.
I'm asking for clarification. Who we listen to as the legal who can't speak in this chamber?
All right.
With respect, the Mayor's final ruling on this matter is final. It's her view. I can only advise the Mayor. She's made a call on that, but it sounds from the floor it's been agreed to give Councillor Doris a right to speak. So we're going to proceed in that way.
Thank you. And thank you, Councillor Symington, for standing up and supporting my request. That's very kind of you, and I appreciate it. Oh, sorry. No, I have got my microphone. What? What? Oh, I'm sure people can hear me anyway. Goodness me. Right. I think the first thing that we have to say, irrespective of the outcome, is that we need to look at the Constitution, because the Constitution of this borough should be sacrosanct. and is not actually overruled by anybody cannot be overruled by anybody outside the Constitution. The Constitution makes provision for all manner of things, and we must stay within the Constitution, no matter who the mayor is, no matter who the deputy mayor is, or indeed, with respect, who the monitoring officer is. And if we need to look at the Constitution, we need to do that. That's the first thing I would say. I wasn't particularly going to make any real political points, but I know that a number of the speeches referred to the Liberal Democrats, and I can understand that, and how good the Liberal Democrats have been. They have been really good. They've been really good in Harpenden. And wasn't there a by-election very recently there? And did they win? I don't think they did. And they've been really good in Three Rivers. And wasn't there 2 by-elections there? And did they win those 2? I don't think they did. But they've been really good. And with greatest respect to Sally, there was an inaccuracy, because I think it was you who said you wanted to be the first leader of the council outside Hemel Hempstead. Actually, you wouldn't be, sorry, because Julian Taunton was the leader of the council some years ago, and Peter Benton of Northchurch was the leader of the council some good number of years ago. But I'm talking about now, and talking about the future, and talking about the attributes that Andrew Williams can bring to this. He has been the leader of the council with possibly a very short break for about 34 years. And during that time, he has seen us through a whole range of situations, ranging from COVID to Reg 18 consultations, to the availability of creating funding for this council and this borough, with wise investments and careful financial management. Thank you very much. I mean, you all read from a script. I've just got prompt here. The point of it is who would be best to take Dacorum Borough Council through the crossroads that we are going to be facing with local government reorganisation. And with the greatest of respect to Sally, it has to be Andrew, because Andrew has the knowledge, the depth of knowledge, the guile, shall we say, to challenge other members of, other leaders of councils throughout Hertfordshire. So it's to me, it is very right that Andrew Williams is the best person to support Dacorum, to support the residents of Dacorum, and to see us through the next few years until local government reorganisation says probably there will be no Dacorum Borough Council, and there'll be no Hertfordshire County Council. We know that for a fact, but we have to be in the forefront and singing loudly and shouting loudly for our residents here. And with the greatest of respect to Sally, I absolutely believe that Andrew Williams is the right person to take us through those 3 and beyond, but those 3 crossroad years for the benefit of all our residents. And I would urge everybody to support Andrew Williams as the leader of the Dacorum Borough Council going forward in the vote. Thank you very much indeed.
We will now go to take the vote, which will be carried out by a show of hands. And as this... I've already said it, we've already been asked. As this is a recorded vote, you will also be asked to complete the corresponding voting slip. Democratic Services will talk you through this. If you are voting in favour of candidate 1, Councillor Williams, to be the leader of the council, please raise your hands now.
Okay, so on your desks you will also find a little pack of slips with a paper clip that look like this. If I could please ask you to take out the slip marked candidate 1, which is yellow, if you are voting for Councillor Williams, and indicate that this is vote number 2 of agenda item 4. Sign your slip and hold it in the air when that is complete.
It might not be, just check through the pack.
It's not your pack that was in your piece. It's not your pack that was inside the envelope, it's the separate pack that I held up.
Madam Mayor, can I have a point of order or point of information, please?
Point of order.
Can I raise a point of order or maybe a point of information? Is there a none of the above option? Is there a none of the above option? Is that
abstain?
Abstain. Thank you.
So when everyone has cast their votes for candidate 1, Councillor Williams, can you please hold them in the air for collection? Thank you.
If you are voting in favour of candidate 2, Councillor Symington, to be the leader of the council, please raise your hand now.
Okay, if I can refer you back to these packs of slips that have got a paper clip on the top. If you are voting for candidate 2, Councillor Sally Symington, please take out the slip marked candidate 2, which is pink. Complete it. It is vote 2 of agenda item 4. And if I could please ask you to sign it and hold it in the air for collection when it is complete.
Must be one there.
There's no against.
It's in this packet. Oh, it's in that one, no. If you are voting abstain, please raise your hand now.
Okay, and again, the same thing applies. If you could take the slip from the pack that has a paper clip on the top, at the back you'll find a white slip that is abstain. It is a vote 2 on agenda item 4. If you could please sign and hold that in the air when you're completed.
Councillor Pringle, could you turn your mic off, please? Thank you. The results of the vote are as follows. 19 votes in favour of candidate 1, Councillor Williams. 23 votes in favour of candidate 2, Councillor Symington, and 7 abstained. It is therefore agreed that Councillor Symington is appointed as the leader of the council, and I invite Councillor Symington to put forward their deputy leader and cabinet. This can be done now or in writing to the monitoring officer after the meeting. Councillor Symington. You haven't.
Yeah. Well, thank you all very much for the vote. I commit to carrying out my duties, as I said, to the best of my ability, to acting for all the residents across Dacorum, wherever they live and whatever their values are. I will do my best to represent them and all of you. So thank you for that. In terms of my cabinet, the cabinet will remain as it is. My deputy leader will be Simi Diani, and the cabinet positions remain Caroline Smith-Wright, William Allen, Councillor Robin and Adrian England. I'm happy to put that in writing after the meeting.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you. Right, I'm now going to go on to agenda item 4. 5.
Announcements.
Oh, announcements, sorry. There's too much here tonight. Announcements. To receive official announcements put forward by the council, by the Mayor and the Chief Executive, and to receive apologies from group leaders. First of all, Councillor Symington. Have we any apologies? No. Councillor Symington, have we any apologies for absence?
Yeah, no, I don't have any apologies, but I have an announcement. Are you taking those separately?
I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah. When you get to, oh no, you do that when we ask the leader to speak. This is just for apologies.
Okay.
Yes. Councillor Williams.
Apologies on behalf of Councillor Johnson.
Right. Councillor Mitchell. Right. Thank you. And are there any other apologies?
Yeah, we have one apology on behalf of Councillor Weston.
Right. Thank you very much. Now, agenda item 5. I have some announcements myself. I'm very sad to announce the passing of former Councillor Anne Fisher, who represented the Grove Hill ward from May 1991 to May 2007, and then the Hemel Hempstead Town ward from May 2015 to May 2019. Before we hold a silence to remember Anne Fisher, does anyone wish to share any reflections? Councillor Pesh.
Right, thank you, Madam Mayor. I had the pleasure of knowing Anne for many, many years and working with her on the council. She was first elected, from what I understand, was in 1987, where she represented Grove Hill. She stayed there until 2007, returned to the council in 2015, when she then won the town ward. She was always hard-working, caring and fair. She would weigh up her words carefully when she spoke, and would respect other people's views. She always remained calm, whatever was happening, although once I did hear her be very firm to her husband, who was also a councillor at the time. I can still see her saying to Brian, no. She had a dry sense of humour. I remember we went along as chair and vice chair of what was the health committee then, on a tour of the cemeteries in Dacorum. And her humour as we went around was very good. She, over the years, she was a director of the Dacorum Council Voluntary Services, and she served for quite a long time on the Grove Hill and Cupid Green Neighbourhood Association, where I know she worked very hard and gained great respect from everybody. Our thoughts from our group especially go out to her family at this sad time. We send our condolences and she will be missed by many. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Banks.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I echo Councillor Pesh's comments. I would like to speak more personally. I consider Anne to be a friend. She first supported me some 25 years ago as chairman of Grove Hill Neighbourhood Association when she supported my drive and determination to bring about wraparound care for primary school children, which we delivered into Grove Hill Community Centre. She was hugely supportive when I first became a councillor, and indeed she never held it against me that our political views did not always match. She was a lovely lady. She was a gentlewoman. She leaves her son Stephen, and it is incredibly heartwarming to know that so many people across Grove Hill would remember her so fondly. She also worked with the Toy Library. She was a character, and I will sadly miss her. Thank you.
Thank you. I agree too. Councillor England.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I remember Councillor Anne Fisher fondly from 2016 when I was a young councillor, which seems like a very long time ago. Things were very different then. We moved into this building within a few months, and Anne and Tony sat behind. I think there were 3 of us at that time, and it was a very different atmosphere. But I always remember being concerned to make sure that Anne had a lift home. I think one time she said that she was catching the bus, and it was winter, and I just found that an incredible, what I presume was an indomitable spirit. Obviously only until 2019, and it's very sad to hear of her passing. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Madden.
Finally, just very briefly, I echo what the others have all said actually, and like Adrian, I used to also take her home after meetings. When I first became an independent and was moved around the council chamber to my new seat, I sat with Anne and Tony, and when I took her home, we used to have the most incredible conversations. She was just the most delightful person, and I just wanted to give my respects as well. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Pringle.
Yes, thank you. Just very briefly, I only had the pleasure of knowing Anne for just over a year when I was first elected in 2018, and she remained on the council until 2019. And it was obvious from just seeing her that she was an amazing person. She was kind, thoughtful, diligent, and a real role model for anyone in local government. She turned up to meetings, she thought everything through very carefully, and was very fair, and I particularly appreciated her support when she wrote a letter actually responding to a letter I'd written about special educational needs, and it just showed how thoughtful a woman she was, and it really stayed with me. I was very, very sorry to hear about her passing, because she was a truly lovely lady. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, anyone else? We'll now hold a minute's silence. Oh, it's all happening, isn't it? All right, go on there. You may sit down now. Thank you. Right, I'd like to make two announcements too. My civic service is on Sunday, and it was meant to be in St Mary's Church, but because of building hasn't been finished, it will now be at St Albans Church on Warners End Road at 3:30, if anyone would like to come. Also, I've got a garden party on the 11th of May at Sunnyside, 11 o'clock till 3, and I invite all of you to come and enjoy all the free entertainment. There will be quite a lot there, so I hope to see you all there. Thank you. And now, on to the business of the agenda. Darren, do you have any announcements as the Chief Executive?
Thank you. I'd like to announce the County Council election will take place on Thursday, the 1st of May, to elect members of Hertfordshire County Council. The count will take place on Friday, the 2nd of May at the Hemel Sports Centre. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll do that now. Yeah? Yeah, we've done that. Oh, yes, true. Right. There then. Moving on to agenda item 6. I draw to your attention.
I'm sorry, I had an announcement.
You will do, I think, when we get to the. Yes. Yes. Yeah, it's down here, don't worry. Sorry. I draw your attention to the portfolio holder updates as published with the agenda. I will invite questions against each update in turn. First, though, I will ask the Leader of the Council if they have any verbal update to give. Councillor Symington.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I actually wanted to make an announcement, and I was trying to do that in the announcements section, and that is to do with an appointment. William Allen has been acting as the Dacorum Borough Council representative on the Hertfordshire Building Preservation Trust quite for some time, but he hasn't been formally appointed. So what would be the appropriate time to do this? I mean, basically the announcement is that he would like to do it. Or we would like it formalised.
Yes, you can do it now, and I'd ask if that is agreed.
Agreed.
Congratulations.
In terms of a verbal update, as I have only been elected as Leader of the Council for approximately 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going to keep this very short. The two key things that I can announce that have occurred, that are really both incredibly important, have occurred since the last full council meeting, are the submission of the local plan for inspection on the 11th of March, and the delivery of our recommendations from Dacorum, actually shared across all the councils, all 10 district and borough councils and the county council, shared response submitted to the Secretary of State regarding local government reorganisation. I don't have any further updates, and I will take questions, but you will only receive written answers to them unless they're very, very easy and straightforward.
Thank you, Councillor Symington. Are there any questions? Right, there are no questions. We'll carry on and go to the Housing and Property Services portfolio holder. I will take the report as read and invite any questions to Councillor Diani on her update. Councillor Elliott.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Can I ask the portfolio holder, now that the sort of council house, social housing that have been built under the Conservative administration, what plans does she have for new council housing, and how many does she intend to build over this few years?
Thank you for the question. If I get it right, just want to add that previously was mentioned as well about the previous 100 houses were built under the different administration. I just want to correct that Developers went bust in between, and there were lots of decisions made in between of this process. So I don't think the glory can be claimed entirely for the decisions for what we have built so far. In terms of moving forward, as we do know, it is majorly depend on what funding do we get. But we are working on investing partnership plans, which means building more. Thank you.
Councillor
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Can I draw the portfolio holder's attention to the section under property, the first bullet point that reads that heating accommodation here in the past tense.
Sorry, can I just stop everyone a moment? Quite a lot of can I just check that no one has any Wi-Fi hotspots turned on in the room? What? Sorry, Terry, there's a lot of interference coming over. We can't hear what you're saying properly. I just want to make sure that you're not interrupted. It started on the end of Councillor Diani speaking. Thank you. If everyone could just check, that'd be great. I'm just going to pop out and check with Jordan. That's okay.
Do you want me to continue? Yep. Okay. Did you hear my opening comment? I did. Good. Okay. What I find interesting is that you then go on to say the KPIs for year 2 are being agreed to drive continued improvements in service delivery. The first sentence says that you have had a first good year, so past tense. Why are you waiting now to be in the second year before you actually agree the KPIs for the second year? Why didn't you do that during the end of the first year?
So as you would imagine, KPIs are set on performances, and we have to set performances measured based on previous year. So we are seeking now further improvement in the performance. We've had a good year, but previous KPIs were set based on a year before performance. I hope that answers the question.
Partially, it leads me to my follow-up question, which will be, at what date will the KPIs for year 2 be determined?
I have to get the dates for you, but I will make sure you get that email. Thank you.
To all members, please.
Yes, we'll do.
Councillor Williams.
Thank you. I turn back to the question from Councillor Elliott, and I'm not sure I quite caught the answer. I think maybe when the sound broke up. But could the portfolio holder clarify just how many new build council homes have been added to the programme since May 2023?
I can get you exact numbers via email. However, as I explained, the priorities are on investing partnerships. So there's a work in progress before we can determine the exact numbers we're going to build.
Andrew, sorry, Councillor Williams.
To be helpful, Madam Mayor, to save the portfolio holder having to do much investigation, I can tell you the number added to the programme is a nice round figure, and it's 1 less than 1.
Okay, Councillor Mitchell. Oh, sorry, Councillor Diani, would you like to reply?
I just would like to point out that I understand the priorities are for Lib Dem administration to make sure we provide decent homes to people who live in properties which are not decent, which were left, and the focus were only on new development. We have a focus where we want to spread the resources. We want to make sure people living in current houses have adequate warm houses, safe houses. We're prioritising on repairs, prioritising on damp and mould. We're prioritising on a lot of other work. I do understand you're trying to get the numbers for what we're going to build. And as I said, this is something work in progress. We are working on lots of projects at the moment, but to get you exact number, I think I would have to get back to you via email and to the rest of the group. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mitchell?
Okay.
Is the portfolio holder aware of the increase in youth ASB in my ward in Gaybridge? In the last week, we've had 3 instances of vandalism to the play parks, including the newly refurbished one. We've had 1 knife search at a school. We've had dangerous dogs off the leash, and we've had damage to the Horsey Field Park bench on 2 occasions. And to add to the list, we've had a fire in the woods, and that's all within 1 week. I was just wondering what help could be offered by the Safer Communities team. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for making me aware. In fact, I'm not yet aware, so the team hasn't reached out to me with the incident you just reported. I can assure that I would immediately make contact with my director and make sure we are on top of it and get you the update from the team. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Liani.
Thank you. Councillor Barradell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As I'm sure the portfolio holder will be aware, temporary accommodation is a massive growing issue for the council and on the council's budgets, at least in the recent housing committee that we had. How does she plan on solving that issue without building any new council houses?
Thank you. So we are securing properties in terms of solving the temporary accommodation. It's not necessary to have a new build to solve temporary accommodation, just to make it clear. There are many other methods. There are landlords who offer their properties to us, and we consistently increase our relationship with stakeholders in decorum. So that isn't the only way to increase housing for temporary accommodation, just to assure you that. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, next, the corporate and commercial portfolio holder. Sorry. I will take the report as read and invite any questions to Councillor Allen on his update. Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Douris.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In your under neighbourhood sorry. No, you're off the hook. I think you're off the hook. I've got the wrong one.
Okay, right, next we'll go to, thank you, next to the neighbourhood operations portfolio holder. I will take the report as read and invite any questions to Councillor Bronham on his update. Is this you now? No. Is it you? You want to question this one?
Oh, yes, I do have a
Councillor
question.
Douris. Yes, sorry.
He would expect nothing less of me. In fact, I have 2 questions, if I may, if you'll indulge me. The first one, looking at the Environment Agency work in Gaybridge Park, and a note saying that the new river channel is likely to be connected to the water flow in April. Are you planning to have that as a small public event so that we can actually enjoy seeing this happen and congratulate the Environment Agency on the work that they've been doing? And my second question to you while I've got the floor is, any news on parking solutions?
Yeah, good question.
Thank you. So firstly, the Gaybridge Park River Gade realignment, as you say, it's led by the Environment Agency, so they're leading the timing on that. And I had exactly the same thoughts myself, that it would be really great to have a celebration when the dam is broken through and the water cascades through. So I will be discussing that with our director and with the management on that site to see what we can do to celebrate that the first flowing of the water along that stream. The second point. Parking Solutions is largely dependent on hiring a new member of staff to manage it. We're short of people at the moment, and that is the critical path on that project, I'm afraid.
Thank you. Any other question? Oh, you've done 2, haven't you? Did you want to follow up?
I fear, Councillor Bronham, that I know more about Parking Solutions and the current position than you do, which is depressing, as you are the portfolio holder. But otherwise, no.
Oh, thank you. Councillor Williams.
I'm just checking before we pass over this portfolio. I want to ask a question about VE Day celebrations. I'm not sure if it's neighbourhood services or whether it would be Councillor Smith-Wright. So before I miss my chance, I'd just like clarity on who to be the portfolio holder for those sorts of events.
But can you repeat the topic, please?
It would be who would be responsible for looking after events such as the celebration of VE Day.
VE Day. Nice. So that's the next one. Yeah.
It would probably be me, Councillor Williams, yeah.
Well, it's you, is it?
Yes, it's yeah, I don't think it will be in neighbourhoods.
Right. Yeah, to carry on. Well, you could ask it if you want to. Directed
I didn't want to lose the opportunity of Councillor Bronwyn finishing, but I'm quite happy to wait for the appropriate portfolio holder.
I think you've passed it, but anyway, all right. Councillor Madden.
Thank you. I would just like to ask Councillor Bronwyn what is happening now with the lake at the First Apsley Scout Hut. On the 21st of March, we received an email to say that the permit's now been issued and they were hoping to meet the contractor sometime next week to discuss mobilisation and practicalities, including a start date. I'll update post-meeting. We've heard nothing since. The Scouts go back immediately after Easter, and this is their most important time. They lost a whole year last year in water activities. I'd just like to be sure that they will be able to start their water activities by the end of this month. Thank you.
Yeah, the Scouts are very much to be celebrated, and I fully support the great work that they do and fantastic experiences that I had myself many years ago. And regarding the lake where the bank collapsed because it hadn't been maintained for the previous decades, the contractor is currently finishing off a job in Watford. Everything else is in place. So the exact timing is not known. It's partly weather dependent, and since we've had a fairly dry period, I'm hoping that they've pulled the timing forward fairly well. I can update you with the exact timing in a written reply.
Thank you. Is that okay?
Can I just ask a supplementary then? Do you know how long this work is going to take when they do start it? Because the Scouts are getting really frustrated by it. Thank you.
As I said, I'm very much in favour of it. I share your impatience, and there's been a lot of hurdles for our offices to jump in terms of getting the FRAP approval from the Environment Agency, and then they had to get a revised FRAP approval and get the contractor in place. And so yeah, we'll update you with everything that we know. But obviously there are some uncertainties with the contractor's existing work.
I'm sorry, that didn't answer my question. My question was, how long will it take when they start?
Well, we'll send you a more detailed reply on that for the Scouts to schedule their activities. But as with these things, it's not, you know, they don't know exactly what they're going to encounter when they start the work. So it's not going to be a precise schedule, I expect, but we'll tell you everything that we know.
Thank you. Councillor Harden.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The previous Conservative administration had a very popular and successful programme called the Verge Hardening Scheme that created many parking bays in residential areas, much to the pleasure of local residents able to park better in their areas. It's been renamed Parking Solutions, and I'd like to ask the portfolio holder if he could tell me how many bays have been created since the Liberal Democrat administration came in.
So that project kind of ground to a halt, I think a year or more before the Liberal Democrats came into administration, and we have been working hard to get it moving again. As I mentioned, the current main constraint is hiring a member of staff to manage it.
Yes, again.
Just on a point of clarification, I think I'm aware that Councillor Doris probably started asking this question at Council of September of 2024. And I do not understand why it has taken, what's that, nearly 6 months now, is it? Why it's taken 6 months to recruit someone into this much needed position. I don't understand why it's a case that we cannot find an officer within the council that has the skill set to be able to do this role. And ask the portfolio holder if he could tell me, carrying on with Councillor Doris, if there is a timeline of when this individual will be recruited.
I don't have a precise timeline. I believe the job adverts have gone out. A lot of the constraint is the dire state of the finances. I've got a massive list of things which are desperately needing to be fixed, which have been neglected for decades, and including the paths around the neighbourhoods, the street nameplates, the communal bins. A lot of these things are in a poor state, and we're struggling to decide which ones to prioritise financially. So this is one of them. So the parking solutions, the verge hardening, yes, we really want to get moving on that because we see all the congestion. But as I say, it has the finance constraints and this procedure constraints in terms of finding the right person to do the job.
Yeah. That's a quick one.
Is it correct that in Liberal Democrat literature, it states that the Liberal Democrats have found £2 million in the budget for infrastructure?
How many questions? How many supplementary questions?
I'm trying to get to the answer from the portfolio holder.
There's too many supplementary questions.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's my discretion. I've done it now, so we'll have to leave it. Sorry.
Is that okay if I end?
Yes.
Thank you very much. So, as I said, in Liberal Democrat literature, they stated that you found £2 million in the budget to spend in infrastructure, and it states in there, including solving parking solutions. So I'd like to know when the portfolio holder feels that they can achieve parking solutions created with the budget that they have already advertised in their leaflet that they have.
So there was a substantial budget which accumulated because the previous administration failed to use it and to actually implement those parking solutions. So we've been discussing regularly what kinds of surface to use. We want it to have sustainable drainage, and we're doing this in a very proactive objective way, so not the reactive way that it was done previously, but we've got a long list of 70 or 80 sites, and we've got a process to assess those in a very objective way to, and then we'll prioritise the most needy sites.
Right, that's the end of the discussion, I'm sorry to say. Everybody take their, that's it. Right, thank you. Next to the place portfolio holder. I will take the report as read and invite any questions to Councillor England on his update.
Madam Mayor, I do just have one verbal update.
Yes?
Good, thank you. As I agreed to do with the monitoring officer, I would like to correct the record following the last council. I have written to the resident who raised this with me to acknowledge the need for this correction and did that several weeks ago. And I was advised to make this statement today. It's been brought to my attention that at the full council in February, I may have inadvertently misled members by summarising that, quote, the NHS made a strategic business case for the hospital and an outline business case as the basis for its May 2022 decision. My understanding was in error. To date, it seems that the Trust has not completed an outline business case, so they have done the strategic outline case, but they haven't done the outline business case. Or at least, it is unclear whether this outline business case has been completed, and if it has been completed, it has not been published. And now I invite questions.
Thank you. Councillor Anderson.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. In the portfolio holder's report, he mentions the appeal hearing to do with what I still call the Fairfax site, or generally known as Land Off Leighton Buzzard Road. And in the report, it forecasts that a decision is expected from the planning inspector in 1 month. That is unprecedented for a case of this size. And I just would like to ask the portfolio holder whether that forecast is based on perhaps overconfidence that the planning inspector may be planning to throw it out almost summarily, or whether the council's almost preparing for losing already. I'm just wondering where between the two extremes the case may lie. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you for your question, Councillor Anderson. I mean, that is a factual update, or rather an opinion update from officers. I have no control over the planning inspector. I don't know when she is going to produce her report.
Thank you. Any more questions? Oh, Councillor Mitchell.
I just wanted to say that having attended every day of the planning inquiry that's just been mentioned, that the planning inspector actually said that the outcome would come within 2 months, but now we are nearing the time of 1 month. So,
thank you. Councillor Douris.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In your section under place and enterprise, you make reference to there has been a positive response to the programme director recruitment, with final interviews being held on the 19th of March. Now, I appreciate this report was written before today, obviously, but are you able to say whether the interviews were successful? I don't want to know the names, but were the interviews successful in so far as being able to appoint a programme director?
Thank you, Councillor Douris. Yes, they have, and we have a starting date, particularly in order to give the programme director a chance to actually get started and get stuck straight in without, obviously this is locally as a very emotive issue. There's been a decision not to pre-announce the start date, although I did gather on social media the other day that the MP has welcomed the appointment of the person. So I think the news is out there.
Thank you. Any other questions? Right, thank you. Finally, to the People and Transformation, Climate and Ecological Emergencies Portfolio Holder. I will take the report as read and invite any questions to Councillor Smith-Wright on her update. Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Previously, the council has had some significant public events around Armed Forces Day, VE Day, etc., with some quite major events in Gadebridge Park particularly. They don't seem to have been pursued with the same enthusiasm over the last couple of years, and indeed support for them seems to be, from the administration, seems to be dwindling. But this is a significant year for VE Day celebrations. It's the 80th anniversary. Could we outline what plans we have to mark that occasion and whether such a significant event in the park is likely?
Thank you. It has been decided that street parties are the way to go. The government has set out free street closures. So up until the 6th of April, you can apply to Hertfordshire to have your street closed. And that is the way we're going forward. We've felt that this was the most appropriate way. I think we've done quite a bit of celebrating last year with the 50 event. And we're supporting residents, and we have it on our website, on social media, to show people exactly how to hold a street party. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Williams?
So in effect, the council is doing nothing?
I'm doing something.
We are empowering the residents to be imaginative, as we were in 1978 with, yes, we don't have to do everything for the residents, they can do their own thing.
Councillor Adeleke.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The local government pay award 2025-2026. They were the national employers. They were meeting on the 24th of March. Do we know the outcome of of the meeting at this stage? And then secondly, if the trade unions are successful in their demands, what will be the likely impact on council's wages bill?
Thank you very much for that question. I don't know the answer to what the outcome was on the 20th of March, but I will find out, and if you don't mind, I will email you and the rest of the council. Thank you.
Sorry,
You'd like us, yes, go. Let me take.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. This is a very important meeting, and which is going to impact on the finances of the council. The meeting took place on the 24th of March. Can the portfolio holder explain why, almost 2 weeks or so, she says she doesn't know the answer?
As I said, I will respond quickly for you, so you will get your answer. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Bristow.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, the Solar Together bulk buy scheme is continuing apace. It was originally intended to conclude on the 4th of this month with the possibility to extend into May. I'm just wondering if the original deadline is going to stay as it was, or if we're going to go forward to get the best deal for residents.
Yes, we are considering moving it to May. We want to make it as much as possible. We've invested in this and we need to get as many people signed up as possible. So we are considering moving it to May.
Well, thank you for that. If it does go ahead, then hopefully we get a prompt communique and we continue to recommend it to all our residents. It's a fantastic scheme.
Thank you. Councillor Elliott.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm very dismayed about the VE. Lack of celebrations. My father fought in that war. I had an uncle that died in the Battle of France. That was the golden generation. So you think 50 years of a celebration of a council is far more important than the men and women that gave their lives so that we could stand here as a democracy? Is there a question? Yes, I'm asking her if she thinks it's more important for Dacorum Borough Council to celebrate 50 years or we celebrate the golden generation that gave us our freedom from fascism.
Well, obviously, we honour all veterans. My grandfather also fought, and my great-grandfather, so I come from a military background. So I do take it very seriously. We have decided at this point to enable communities to come together and have street parties. And I think that's for the community, that's for everyone, that encompasses everybody. It doesn't just leave the elite and people just to kind of parade. This is about normal people celebrating in their communities, bringing people together, sharing food, sitting at a table, celebrating. And I think that's a fine way to celebrate VE Day. Thank you.
Like a supplementary.
Can I ask you what happened in 1978?
Yeah, I'd like to know that.
77.
So what?
Yes,
sorry.
Jubilee. Councillor Madden.
Thank you. I'm quite dismayed about this as well because we missed, in effect, the 75th anniversary of VE Day because we were in COVID. I can remember having a street party where we all sat on our drives in my little cul-de-sac, safe distancing from everybody else. This would have been such a fantastic opportunity to pick that up. And it's not just about the people that were actually fighting in the war. It's about people like me and my family. I grew up in the Royal Air Force. I went to 12 schools. By the time I was 16, I'd lived in 16 houses because my dad was serving this country. I think we should do better. It's too late now. But to try and redeem it, is there something else that we can do? You say that you're going to empower the people of Dacorum. When it was the royal wedding and things like that, as a parish council, we invited people to have street parties and we gave them One time we gave them a box of bunting and all the things that they needed to have a street party at our expense. Is the council going to do something like that to redeem itself, please?
Yeah. Would I like to mention that there is a celebration, because I'm attending it, and I think Catherine is. No, I know what you mean, but I'm just saying there is a celebration, and people can come if they want to. Yes. Right. Who's next? Can't even see. Hannell? Councillor Hannell?
Madam Mayor, the Labour Group are extremely concerned about this situation. We would ask the administration to reconsider their position regarding the celebration of VE Day. Not only has it been echoed by people more eloquently than me about the sacrifices that were made during that war, but also to my children and grandchildren who are facing a war in Europe now where the aggressor is being appeased in a way that Churchill arguably was appeasing Hitler in 1938. Chamberlain, thank you. Thank you. I don't think that Churchill was doing that in 1938. So we've got a situation where this is history that is really powerful, and I think that a street party is appropriate for a royal event, but I think in a situation where it's a national celebration, regardless of whether you're a royalist or a republican, I think that an event at Gadebridge Park, which has always been the centre of our community, would be a good place for us to be able to get together and not only remember, but also thank those people that sacrificed and be aware of the fact that if we do forget, we constantly get reminders, and we're in one now because there's a war currently going on in Europe right now. Thank you.
Yes, can I respond?
Come back.
Okay. Sorry. Dacorum is a very big borough. We're not just Hemel. We've got villages, we've got towns. It isn't just Hemel. Currently, Gadebridge is being dug up, so it's not an appropriate site to hold a huge event. So I do appreciate, I do sympathise, I do understand everybody's strong feelings. As the Mayor has said, there is an event that public are invited to, and as far as street parties go, we encourage residents to sign up to have their road closed. That's an immense expense. It costs thousands to shut a road for a street party. It's free currently. So if you want to encourage your communities all over Dacorum, not just Hemel, we've got other communities that also need considering. Thank you.
Right, I'm afraid that's the time out, so we'll follow on to the next thing. Moving to agenda item 7, business from the last council meeting. All updates are provided in the action point list as published under item 7. Are these agreed and noted? Agreed. Cabinet referrals. I invite the Leader of the Council to introduce the referrals from Cabinet. Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Cindy. So, Cabinet referral CA 2925, financial performance Q3 2024 to 2025. Do I have a seconder?
I second that.
Agreed. Agreed. Right.
CA 30/25, senior officer pay policy. Do I have a seconder?
I second that.
Agreed.
Agreed. CA 32/25, strategic asset review, part 2. Do I have a seconder?
I second that. Does everybody agree?
Agreed.
Thank you, Cindy.
Right. Agenda item 9, overview and scrutiny referrals. There are none, so moving on to agenda item 10, changes to committee memberships. Are there any changes to committee memberships? None. None. There. Any changes over there? No? Right. And under item 11, I confirm there are no proposed changes to committee dates. And that concludes the business of this evening's council, and thank you, everybody. Thank you for being so patient. Thank you.